Hello everyone. In today's video I will show you one of my flies that I made a long time ago, but this is an upgraded version. Long time ago I made a Perdigon Nymph that has nice translucent kind of 3D body, and now it's upgraded with some CDC and some kind of hotspots that will stand out against most backgrounds in the water. First I will start with materials list. So first is the hook. I'm using jig hook here with 3.3 jig of tungsten. I like to use jig hook with jig of tungsten because when you place the jig off forward, it leaves a lot of shank for you to work with, and oftentimes when you're using smaller hook, that a little bit of extra space can help you tie a better fly and can actually help you hook fish better. Because when you have a small fly, this is not a small fly by any means, but when you have a small fly and a relatively big tungsten bead, everything that stands in the way of the point will actually lessen your chance to catch a fish. So that's why I like to use jig off on any kind of hooks, not only on jig hooks. So after that I will use some Coq de Leon for the tail. Coq de Leon is nice, just looks supernatural. I mean, I cannot find a better tailing material. For the tag end I'm going to use Flat Tinsel by The Extreme. This one is small, it's red, and it looks amazing. For the body I will use Body Quill. Well, this one is by Vivas, and the color is, as you can see, BQ3, but you can find BQ20 by Hands or any other producer that does body quill. Basically it's the same material. For the thorax I will use some of the golden dubbing ice dub that I recently found, so I'm kind of testing some materials. It has nice slim thin fibers, dubs easily, as you will see later on, and I will mix it with Hands CDC. Those are materials that I like to work with at the moment. So let's go with dyeing. First, and the thread. This one is Magpie Materials and it's 110 denier, but it looks much thinner to me. So what I like to do, I start the thread, make a thread base, break it off, and then figure of 8 over here. After a couple of figure of 8s, try to make it as tight as possible. After a couple of these 8 wraps, figure of 8s, just use some super glue, let them soak into the thread here, so just make everything more durable. I'm not trying to soak it too much, just a tiny little drop is enough for now. At this point I'll just turn the hook back. I'll pick a couple of those tailing barbs. Spanish Coq de Leon or Tela de Leon is way better material for the dry flies than it's for nymphs. Well, it's perfect for nymphs, but it's so expensive to be used for that, if you ask me. So you can use whitening for the nymphs, and original, the one from Spain, you should use for dry flies. When I reach the end of the hook, okay, that was the end, I'll take the tinsel and I'll just place it near side, far side. It's fine as long as you don't mess up your tail. Try to keep everything as slim as possible. Okay. Now I'm just gonna wrap this up and I'll go all the way, more than half of the body. and this will give this middle dark spot. You will see I'm keeping this all together with just one wrap, nothing else. I just went once over the tinsel, that's all I need. Now, without any whip finishes, half hitches or whatever, I'm just gonna start new thread. In this case it's body quill, but you have to be careful because there is nothing to keep your thread together. If you bounce the hook, everything can get loosened up. So after a couple of wraps, now everything is tight, the tinsel is secured well, and you can cut off the thread. I'm just lazy to do that half hitch sometimes. This can be critical because you can cut your body quill. Now what do you want to do? You want, at least I do want, I keep a little bit of more space here because I have more control. I can loosen the bobbin holder, but I don't like to do it on and off with different threads, so I keep one tension for all. So for this one, I'll just keep a little bit more thread and work with it and try to keep it flat, because flat thread will keep it more translucent. When it cords up, it gets less translucent. So go almost all the way to the back, counter spin the bobbin holder, give it a little bit counterclockwise spin, and then go back, and you can see that it's kind of, it covered the body nicely, but it still shows the tinsel through. That I want to gradually make to disappear. So I'll go back, create taper, and also create kind of a 3D effect with this body. So every time you go back, you go slightly less than previous time. Now, you know that I like to use super glue for my nymphs very often. For this nymph, I wouldn't recommend it because you need a little bit of thickness to your UV if you want to cover the body nicely. If you don't, if you are happy with the super glue, then this is the effect you will get. If you go with UV, then this is the effect you will get. Almost the same, but like it depends on what you let me show you that one next to another. You just see, yeah, this is super glue. It's almost identical, but still there are slight differences. So, and yeah, UV can cure almost instantly, unlike super glue. Now, this is a 2-turn whip finish, and cut it. This is too much, but I will remove the excess. One of the advantages of UV over the super glue is when you're touching the tails with UV and curing it later on, everything stays nice and fine. If your tail soaks up the super glue when it hardens, it becomes brittle. So your tail becomes brittle too, and it can break easily. So that happened to me. That's why I know. So yeah, that's why I don't like to use super glue for all the applications. Okay. Now this is it. Close my UV. Give it a little bit of a twist. Now it's time to get the yellow thread again, and yellow thread is something that I was discussing with a friend, and he told me that a yellow thread is probably one of the best colors. Well, yellow color is one of the best colors to stand out against most of the backgrounds. So what it means, it's like if a trout looks your fly against yellow background, yellow thread won't be visible so much, but almost nothing under the water is yellow, while most of it is brown, green and stuff. So when you have green fly, your fly kind of camouflages against the background. When you have brown fly, like a pheasant tail, your fly again camouflages against the background. But when you have something yellow, when you have something red, it stands out quite a bit, so it can be more visible to the trout. So this is basically an attractor nymph, not an imitation. So just start my thread again. This is just like a basic stuff to do now. It's very easy. Create a dubbing loop. Put those, I call them legs, together, because when you close them, everything will be tight. If you don't close them here, there will, like, even if you squeeze them here, they will be open here, so materials will just pop out. That's why you need to close those legs near the hook. Okay, now I'll prepare CDC. For CDC, I usually try to choose something that's of less quality than I would use for dry flies, such as this. And yeah, that's it. For dubbing, I just take a couple of fibers here. You don't have to dub it super tightly, because dubbing twister will do it for you. Place the CDC in the clip and then cut the rest of the feather. As I said before, I'll say it again, like longer fibers I like to use lower, to place lower or more away from the hook. So when I wrap everything up, the longest fibers will be near the bead. That's just my thing. There's no right or wrong here. Now if you think you have too much, you can remove it. Now I will spin this dubbing twister, if you look at it from above, in a clockwise manner. So when I deal with the thread later on, the thread will jump to my right. That's enough. This, when you squeeze the thread and just pull it towards the hook, as you can see, it twists a little bit more. Okay, look at this. I release the tension, everything jumps towards the bead. Now first 2 wraps I want to be near the green body, and then I'll just wrap them up. I want everything to jump away from the body so it doesn't obstruct it too much. That's why you don't need too much CDC either. Now let's pull all those barbs back, tighten up. Now 1-2 wraps of the thread against the around the dubbing loop, and then 2 more. That's what I like to do, to keep it more tight and secure. And also I'm creating a hotspot right now here. Cut this close, but there is a tag end which I will cover with whip finish. Now counterspin the bobbin holder to flatten the knot, flatten the thread, sorry, then create the nice whip finish knot. The finish knot is important to be done with flat thread because it prevents breaking of the thread, because if you have twisted thread it will furl up, knot itself. Just when you tighten the knot it will break. Also when you flatten the thread, flat thread lays flat obviously, it aligns itself much better, so the knot is stronger because of that. And that's all you need to know here. Like, flat thread makes stronger with finish knots. Okay, and now I have hotspot, yellow hotspot, I have red hotspot, I have some natural material, well, natural color and natural material that will wiggle in the current. That's it. 3D, almost a Perdigon nymph. Hope you guys like it. If you did, give it a like, subscribe. See you next week.